If you have ever tried sending an email through Python and got stuck with scary SMTP errors or Gmail security warnings, you are not alone. In this video, I will show you two simple and professional ways to send emails using Python, including how to send attachment. Stick around till the end, because once you understand this, you will be able to build contact forms, automated reports, and even full notification systems for your web application. Let's get started. So this is going to be a simple console application. For this, I have created .env file for our environment variables, app.py file. Here we'll write our code, and requirement.txt. For this project, we only require this library to access the environment variables. Alright, let's set up our virtual environment. Python-m. Now let's activate this. Alright, now we just have to install the required library. So to install this, we'll use the pip command. Pip install -r requirement.txt. That's it. Let's get started with our coding. First, we'll import the libraries we need. So I'll import OS to access the variable inside environment file. Import SSL. SSL helps create a secure encrypted connection to Gmail or whatever SMTP server you're using. We'll import SMTPlib. So SMTPlib is Python's built-in email sender library. So all the functions we need for sending email, receiving emails are available inside this library. So we need this. From email.message, we are going to import email message. So email message is a helper class that makes building emails easier, right? From pathlib, import path. Path is just a nice way to work with file paths and reading files. So we are going to use path. Alright, now let's configure, we will load config from env file. Before that, let's set up our .env file. Now in .env file, I have already set up the basic settings, like the variables we will be using for this application. Now this is a demo setting. First thing, we need SMTP host and SMTP port. For this, I'm going to use Gmail SMTP. So my host name is smtp.gmail.com. My port is 465. Now SMTP user is going to be the email address from where I'll be sending the email. So let me use one of the dummy account which I have created as here. SMTP pass is going to be a 16-character app password. Now this is not same as your Gmail password. If you are using your Gmail password, it will not accept, and Gmail mail server will give you some errors. How to set up this, right? To set up this, you can go to this link, right? Inside this link, you have to create an app. Now I have created a sample or dummy mail app which is called mail, right? Once you create this app, it will allow you to generate a password. The password will look something like this. Now remember, don't share this with anyone, and I am going to delete my mail app after creating, after publishing this video. So do make sure don't share this with anyone. Alright, so my 16-character app password is this, and this is going to be my email address, the email address which will be shown in the from field of your email. This time I'm going to use my original email ID, and this is going to be our destination email address, right? Let's give a destination email address, and let's say, so this is my destination email address. Now I'm not going to show you this because this is my personal email address, another personal email address. So yeah, but I'm going to show you the email which is being sent in this email inbox, right? So let's get started with the coding. Now here, first thing, we are going to load the configuration from environment file or .env. Here I am loading all the settings from environment variables from this file. Why? Because we never hard code the real email password or email ID in your code. Now, of course, you can make this dynamic. For the purpose of this, explanation or this sample project, I'm hard coding it here in my environment variable. First, I'm going to create a helper function for sending emails. So let's define a function def SMTP underscore send email. Now this is going to send email message. What this function is going to do is it will open a secure SMTP connection and send the prepared email message, right? So this function is a small helper that actually sends the email. We will use it for both plain text email and email with HTML and attachment. Right, so let's create a variable called context. Now this will build a secure SSL or TLS context. Now this is important so that our password and email content are encrypted in transit. With smtplib.smtpssl, right, we are going to set SMTP host, SMTP port, right, and let's say context equals to context as a server, right? So what I'm doing here is, this SMTP lib.smtp underscore SSL connects to the mail server using SSL on port, this SSL on port 465. SSL means secure tunnel. Without SSL, someone on the internet could sniff credentials, right? Now with this server variable, I'm going to log in server dot login to the email server. So what is my ID? So SMTP user with this user and SMTP password. I'm going to log in. So this is just kind of authentication. This is where you must use the Gmail app password, not your email account password, but Gmail app password. If you use your normal Gmail password, Google will block you with an authentication error. Now let's send email message or send a message. So server dot send message. We are going to send this message msg. So the send underscore message function takes an email message object. So this is an email message object. It this function convert the message into a real MIME email with header and body, and hands it off to Gmail's SMTP server to deliver to the inbox. When the with block ends here, right, so this is the end of the with block, the SMTP connection is closed automatically. Now I'm going to create a function or another function that will set up the simple email, the plain email for us. So def send plain, I'm going to say this is my function, which is going to send a plain email. So the variable inside this is to, right, of type str, subject of str, and a body of str. Now this function is going to build and send a simple text email. So let's create a message object of type email message. We have already seen here that this function or this class email message creates a new email object for us, that is msg. Think of it as an empty envelope and we can fill it. So let's fill the variables or the values inside this. From equal to mail from message. Now this is going to be 2 equals to 2 msg, and then subject msg dot set content body. Now this function set content or set underscore content sets the body of the email as a plain text. This is the simplest, safe format, works on every email client. Now I'm going to call the SMTP send function. So let's call it SMTP send and then pass on the message object. Now this function SMTP underscore sends open the SSL connection right over here and logs in to the mail server and actually sends the email. Now let's try to execute the application. Before that, let's create an entry point for this app. So if now this is the block only runs if you execute the file, I mean app.py file directly. You might already know that, right? It won't run if you import this file from somewhere else. Let's do some safety check. So I'll create a variable called missing keys, k for k in this list, smtp underscore post, smtp underscore port, smtp underscore user, smtp underscore password, right? So I'm just going to check if not os dot environment or dot get. I'm going to get this key. That's it. Now what I'm doing here, let me explain. Before we send email, we are going to warn the user in case they forgot to set up the environment variable. So this is what I'm doing here. Now I'll just put an if block if missing key is not empty. I mean there is something which is not being populated by user, so missing key is going to have some value. In that case, we are just going to print a warning message. Warning, missing SMTP, SMTP underscore or SMTP setting, join missing key. Right, so what I'm doing here, I'm just printing a message, and along with this message I'm joining the missing key with this print statement. That's it. And I'll just write one more print statement. Print, let's say, did you forget to set SMTP user and TP underscore pass? In the bracket I'll just say app password. That's it. Now these messages are just to help beginners understand why logging might fail, and Gmail will reject login unless you uses the app password. Alright, so first we will call send underscore plain to send a simple text only email. So I'll just say send plain. Now here in the to variable I'll say destination email. In the subject I'll say plain text demo from Python. Now in the body, let's say I'll just say hello, right? And then a new line entry. This is a plain text email sent using Python, right? I'll just say this and then full stop. That's it. Alright, let's see if this works. So I'll go to view, terminal, Python, app.py. So SMTP warning, I got some error messages. So let's see. Missing SMTP setting, SMTP host is this. Okay. So the error here is my username, I mean app username and password is not accepted, which is why I'm getting this error. Let me try to fix this. Alright, so I was able to fix the error. Now what I've done to fix the error is, initially what I did is, the password for this, when you generate your fresh password, it will look something like this, the password, with spaces in between the group of characters, right? Now when you copy this, don't give the spaces in between. Just copy the password and remove the spaces like I did here. And make sure to pass the values like this when you are loading the env.env file, the configuration file like this. Now let me show you one example. I'll just clear my screen. I'll just say, now I'm not getting anything, any error, means the email might have sent. So let me check in one of my emails inbox. So to check, the destination email address is this. So I'm going to check my inbox in this email address. So you see the inbox, we have one email which is called this. This is a plain text from vivekdega31@gmail.com. So this is how we send a simple plain email using Python. I hope you have understood how to send a plain email using Python or in Python. If you have any questions or facing any issues while building this project, drop your questions in the comment. I will try to help you out. Now let's create a function that will send email, HTML email with attachment. So def send HTML with attachments. Now let me quickly complete the definition of this function. Alright, so now let me explain you what I have done. So the function name is send_HTML with attachment, and in the parameters we need to subject HTML attachment path. If it doesn't have anything, we are accepting none. Now this part is just for the documentation, right? You might have seen that almost all real apps always send HTML and often needs attachment, like sending a PDF invoice, a report, or a CSV. As we know that this line creates an empty email message object. This is where we are setting like the sender, who is the receiver, this is the subject, and this part set_content. Now this is the plain text fallback. Some clients or some security settings will block HTML, so this will still provide a readable text version in that email. This line, the function add_alternatives, this attaches an HTML version of the email as an attachment. Email clients that support HTML will show this version instead of the plain text version. We also have this variable called attachment_path. This block is to add attachment in your email. If an attachment path is provided, we read that file and include it in the email. This line, especially this function, loads the entire file into memory as bytes. We need raw bytes because HTML attachment are binaries, not plain text. And then this line, file.name or the file name, this grabs just the file name portion so that the recipient sees something like let's say report.pdf or some report name in the attachment instead of just the system generated path or the whole path of that file. Now this function add_attachment, this function tells the email please include this file as an attachment, right? And the main type equal to application and subtype equal to octet stream is the generic binary MIME type. If you are going live with this app, or if you are creating a similar app and then going live with that application, you can detect the real MIME type like image/png or application/pdf, etc. using MIME types parameter. Finally, send the message. Just like before, we hand the fully prepared message to SMTP_send function, and that function handles the network side. This function, right? Now we just have to call this function to test it. So let's call this function. Now to test the email with attachment functionality, what I have done is I've created a simple string with HTML and stripping any extra spaces. The attachment _demo file is none for now. Later we'll add the file path. Here I'm just calling this function, send HTML with attachment with destination email address and then a subject line, the HTML body, which is this, and the HTML or the file path. I'm going to call this. Before that, let me comment this part. All right. Go to view, terminal, just CLS. Let me call app.py. Fine, check your inbox. So let me open my inbox one more time. Okay, you see the HTML demo with optional attachment. So this is our Flask/Python demo email. So this is the new email which I have received, the email with attachment. And now let's try to set an attachment. What I'll do is I'll just upload a file to this folder, in my project folder, and I'll try to attach that file in my email. So let me try that. Alright, so let me show you what I've done. Now in my project folder, I have imported an image file, email app underscore name. So what I'll do is I'll just paste the name of this file in here as an attachment. So email.jpg, save it. Now let me execute the file one more time. Yeah. Check your inbox. Nice. In my inbox, I have an email now with an attachment, which is this, and this is my email body, right? And that's it. You have just learned how to send plain text and HTML emails with attachment using pure Python. No fancy libraries, just clean, simple code. Now you can use the same logic inside your Flask apps, automation scripts, or even business dashboard to send reports, alerts, or contact messages automatically. If you found this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more short, practical projects like this. In the next video, we will take this one step further. I will show you how to schedule these emails automatically using Python. Thank you for watching. This is Vivek from Escape Room Coding, signing off. Keep building, keep escaping. I'll see you in the next one.